Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Little Likac Podcast, episode 79. My name is Amanda and this is a knitting and crochet podcast, and today I have got quite a few finished objects to share with you. Yay! So my name is Amanda. I live in Derby in the UK, and thank you for joining me today. It is the 18th, 19th of October, somewhere around there. I kind of lost track of dates and things because I've been off work for the last 4 weeks now, because 4 weeks ago I slipped at work and broke my elbow, or broke a bone in my elbow. So the first couple of weeks after I did that, there was very little knitting going on, although I could manage a little, but I could only do like 20-30 minutes at a time. But the last week or two, I've been able to prop up my elbow and knit quite well. Again, I still have to take regular breaks, which you should do anyway. And I double checked with the doctor as well, and he was like, yeah, no, it's absolutely fine. If it's not causing you pain, then, you know, knitting is absolutely fine. So that's all good, being kind of okayed by the doctor. But yeah, but because I'm not at work, I am getting quite a lot of knitting done, even though I'm sort of taking a break. You know, I'm not knitting all day and all evening, which I would do if it was my ankle. But yeah, so I'm managing to do an hour, then take a break for a bit, and then an hour and take. So yeah, the last couple of weeks I have managed to get some more knitting done, which has helped cheer me up, because yeah, nobody tells you how much emotionally it can feel when you've injured yourself like this. And I don't know how much of that as well is to do with pain, because it is still incredibly painful when I do certain things and I have to keep moving it. The physio means I have to, you know, keep trying to move it and move it in different ways, and sometimes you do something and it really hurts. And yeah, anyway, but I have put on my makeup, I put on my big girl pants, and today is a good day. I'm feeling quite positive today. But yeah, there have been some days where, or some parts of the days where I felt quite down about it still. But anyway, yeah, 4 weeks on, and I am making progress. I know I am, because I am able to move it more and able to do more things. But lifting, carrying, really can't do, and there were certain movements I still can't do. Like I put on some makeup today, and that's the first time I've put on makeup since I broke my elbow, and it was just like weird, because like normally with foundation I put foundation on, I can't move my hand that way, so I was putting it all on with my left hand, and then when I was using a brush, I was having to hold the brush like that and do that, which was like really weird. So yeah, there's all sorts of weird, like I can now brush my hair and wash my hair better with this hand, so that's why I know that I have got more movement. But even like yesterday I washed my hair in the shower and everything, and it's just, once you've done something like that and had to have your hand up and put pressure on it and stuff for an extended period of time, and let's face it, washing your hair is not really extended, but it is when you've got long hair, yeah, then that's, you know, kind of takes out a lot of the energy. Anyway, this is not a podcast for me to moan about my health, because, you know, I'm blessed in many ways, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I will get a full recovery. Hang on a second. A notification came down and then just stayed on the screen, which was very annoying. So yeah, anyway, I know I am blessed really that I'm really healthy in most ways, and this is just a temporary thing. And you know, there are many of you who watch the podcast who have much more severe and long-term health conditions, and if you are one of those, my love and best wishes to you. I am not a good patient, and just being inconvenienced for a few weeks is really getting to me. Anyway, I've got lots to share with you, because the last time I podcast 2 weeks ago, I didn't really show you any of the knitting that I'd been doing, because obviously I hadn't been doing very much. And so it's been 5 weeks since I've shown you progress on knitting, and also, so yeah, I've got some finished objects to show you, new cast ons, and yeah, all good. Let me also show you hugs. See, gotta try and find the right position to get hugs. Hugs is wearing a new scarf that I should have told you about. This new scarf was sent to me by Suzanne. Hugs was sent to me by Suzanne. Suzanne sent me a lovely care package a few weeks ago, but when she heard that I'd broken my elbow. She sent me a really lovely care package, which included a new scarf for Hugs, and Hugs is wearing a scarf knitted with little remnants of the 2023 Advent calendar, which was The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So he is sporting his new scarf, so thank you, Suzanne. And she sent me some sweets, and there we go. She sent me some sweets and some lovely hot chocolate and things like that, so thank you. And then I also want to show you a couple of things. So the last video I did was when I'd been to Yarndale, and I showed you all the things I had bought at Yarndale, which was quite a few, but not too bad. But there was a couple of things I forgot to show you. So while I was there was a tombola for charity. I can't remember which charity it was for, but there was a tombola, and it was £2 a ticket. And if you won a prize, it was a hand knitted prize, and they had mostly a lot of socks, hand knitted socks, some shawls, hats, maybe some fingerless mitts, that kind of things. And I won a prize. So yes, I won a shawl actually, which is really pretty. I don't know what pattern it is. Anyone recognises this? So yeah, I won that, and I ended up wearing it because it was actually quite cold at Yarndale this year, and so I did actually wrap that around my neck. So yeah, so I won that on the tombola. Now I might actually put that in, because it's not really colours that I wear a lot of, so I might actually put that into my pile of sort of gifts that I've got to give to people at some point. And then also on the way home from Yarndale, we stopped at some services, and I can't remember which services it was now, but the services we stopped at, there were, we saw a couple of other people wearing hand knit jumpers, etc., and we thought, good chance they were at Yarndale. And in fact, they saw us wearing hand knit cardigans. And there was a lovely person we met there, Luke, who was actually giving out little amigurumis, and I think he'd been giving them out at Yarndale. And he gave us this gorgeous little crochet octopus, which is just so cute. And on Etsy, he is Lukey's Crafty Corner, and on Instagram, he's also Lukey's Crafty Corner. So yeah, he'd got a little thing and was giving these out, and I thought I'd just give him a little shout out. So very, very cute. I ought to put that on my Instagram and tag him as well, actually. So there was a couple of things to update you on there. Right, okay, so the last time I podcast showing you things that I'd knitted was the beginning of September. So let's start showing you some finished objects. And I've got 5, I believe. Yeah, 5. 1, 2, 3, yeah. 5 finished objects to show you. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So last time you saw these were really nearly finished, and these were finished probably the same day as I podcast, actually. I probably did them, finished them that evening. So these have been a finished object for a few weeks, and they were for a test knit for Clare Hockley. And these were the Walking on the Waves socks. And so last time you saw these, I had finished the first one, and I was down to here, so that's literally all I had to do, which, so I probably, as I say, finished them that evening. And I've knitted this in my own hand-dyed yarn, Little Likac, and it was the Cinderella colourway from the Fairy Tale Mystery Club that I did a couple of years ago. So it's grey mostly, but with a little bit of lavender and lilac in it as well. It's a really lovely pattern. Clare is a new designer. She's only done a few designs so far. This is a really nice lacy picot edged pattern. Heel, flap and gusset, knitted top down. You don't have to do the picot edge, you could just do ribbing, and I'm sure that would look just as nice as well. So, oh, hang on. I currently have Stu That's my dog down in the office with me. Can you hear him? Yeah, so he is on squirrel alert. When we come down to the office, there are a lot of squirrels. I have to be careful saying that word because that will set them off. In the garden. And yeah, so I will keep pausing and editing out the crazy barking. But yes, he is on high alert. Let me just... So yeah, you can see he is busy watching out of the window, out the door, and if any more of those creatures come along, he will go crazy. Right, anyway, so yes, so those were... Oh, that's a bird. Oh no, it's not. Can you see it? Anyway, yes, so Walking on the Wave socks by Clare Hockley. Really nice pattern, really lovely socks. And if you are new to lace, they'd be a really nice, actually easy lace pattern for you to do, and sort of get used to the idea of how to do lace. Right, so that's the first finished object. The second finished object is also a pair of socks. So these were the September socks for our Socksy and You Know It make along. Oh, which I will draw a giveaway prize in a few minutes for that as well, actually. Although, yeah, I'll sort that out in just a second. Okay, so I hadn't even cast these on last time I podcast, and then I started on these, and in fact I had done 1.5 socks when I had my accident. So the second half of the second sock didn't get knitted until I didn't finish this until October, end of the first week of October, I think. Okay, and this is, in fact, I didn't even finish sewing in because actually this was the second sock, and when I grafted the toe, actually the grafting of the toe was more painful or more difficult than the knitting had been, so I didn't, once I'd finished grafting the toe, I just left it hanging out. I was like, right, that'll do. But now I can do grafting on the toes without it being awkward or difficult, so again, I know that I'm making progress. Anyway, so these are the Socksy and You Know It for September. I believe that I know that this is West Yorkshire Spinners. I think it's Rum Paradise. I think that's what Rum Paradise. And now I can't remember what this is. I will put it up. They're both West Yorkshire Spinners. I will... Oh, no, it's gone out of my head. Blackcurrant Bomb. There we go. Rum Paradise, Blackcurrant Bomb for the contrast. And I just love these. Absolutely love these. So these are my September socks. Now the Socksy You Know It knit along is a year-long project that I have been running, and you can enter it by knitting a pair of socks. You actually have 2 months, so if you started a pair of socks in September, you have until the end of October to enter them. If you started a pair of socks in October, you have the end of November to enter them. And the way you enter them is 2 ways. You can either put it, and this is the preferred way, please just pop it straight into the Ravelry thread, and the link below in the description box, there is a link to the Ravelry forum for this podcast. If you don't use Ravelry, then you can send me a picture of your finished objects to my email, and then I will enter those for you. And I have been keeping all the socks that I've been making this year for the Socksy You Know It make along. I've not worn any of them. Once they've been finished, they've just been going into this lovely box that I've got. You can see there's a few I haven't finished sewing in the ends. But anyway, here are all my socks for the year so far. And so I will be putting the September socks, hopefully I'll remember to sew that end in, but I will be putting in the September socks into this box as well. So I'm really pleased that I'm doing that, because it means at the end of the year I've got 12 pairs of socks that haven't been worn, and then I've got like a brand new box of socks for next year. I have also decided I am going to continue next year with the make along, so I have started choosing and picking out and going through my sock yarn stash to pick colours for next year. We have just got, I will show you the October socks in a minute, I've got 2 still left for November and December, and I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to wrap them up and put stickers on them, and just pull out the and open them up at the beginning of each month. So shall we do the giveaway? I am just going to pause this then while I double check. No, it's alright, I won't pause it, I'll just edit it out. You didn't need to know that, did you? Right, let's get on to the Ravelry page for Socksy and You Know It. Socksy and You Know It August. This is what we're looking for. Right, okay. The winner of this giveaway is going to receive this as a prize if they are in the UK. If they are an international winner, then they will be receiving a pattern prize of their choice. Okay, so this is Drops Fable in the colourway 911. We do have a matching pair, they have got the same dye lot. So yeah, so if it's a UK winner, they will be winning that. Okay, so for our August, we have got 68 entries. So I'm going to ask my smart speaker to choose a winner. So choose a number between 1 and 68.
Here's a number between 1 and 68. It's 65.
Okay, 65. So 65 is... Right, this time he's barking because there are a couple of pigeons out there. I might actually show you the pigeons. Pair of pigeons doing what pigeons sometimes do. Anyway, that's what he's barking at this time. Oh, give it a rest, you. Right, so anyway, as I was saying, our winner is Big D, and she is in Missouri, so it will be a pattern prize. Okay, and wow, look at these socks. They are amazing. They are awesome. So Big D, get in touch with me and let me know what pattern you want, and I'll get that sent to you on Ravelry. Okay. So as I say, I've just realised that I hadn't started the October finished socks thread, which is really, really bad of me because we are now on, you know, the 20th of October. So I'll get that open. Please, please, please pop your entries in, and I'm so, so sorry about that. You'd think actually with me being off I'd have more time to do things like this, but I guess actually with being off I've just been more distracted in some ways from routines and usual things. So okay, we'll get that up and running. Right, so next finished object. This was also another pair of socks that were nearly finished. So again, then I just plugged away at these, did a few rows each day and got them finished off. And they are my Dracula socks. So this is also using Little Likac Yarn, and this was a Halloween colourway for this year. And this was Dracula, which is on my luxury sock, which is 85% merino, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. I think there is one skein of Halloween yarn left in the shop, and I can't remember now if it's Dracula or Frankenstein. But anyway, these are the Dracula ones. So I have got these finished in time for Halloween, and so I may well be wearing those at some point in the week before the week leading up to Halloween. Probably not on Halloween itself, because Halloween is also my husband's birthday, and we are, well, you know, I suppose I could wear them during the day, but we're going out for dinner in the evening. I don't think I'll be wearing these for going out to dinner. Right, and then the last finished object, no, it's not the last finished object, it's the fourth finished object, is another pair of socks. And again, these have been started. Give me a minute, I just need to put these on sock blockers. So again, these have been started a while ago. In fact, I started them in July, and these are, the pattern is a Little Hocus Pocus, which is by This Handmade Life. And they've got this lovely, very simple cable pattern, and you do, there's a left leg and a right, there's a left foot and a right foot. So the cable pattern goes down on both, on different sides of the sock. So yeah, I'd started these in July. Now these are actually a gift, sort of a gift. These are gift knitting. So my friend Hallie who I went to Yarn Day with actually, she is a really big crocheter but not really a knitter, and she was talking about really wanting some hand knit socks, and she had bought some yarn, a sock set, and basically asked very nicely if somebody would knit the socks for her. So I offered to do that, and the yarn is a Siobhan's craft yarn. I'm kind of looking around because somewhere I've got the bag with the sock label, the yarn label. Here we go. So yeah, it's the colourway is called Creepy. So I decided to do kind of like a Halloween theme. So that's why I did a Little Hocus Pocus. So Siobhan's Crafts, she really specialises in very bright colours, and it is 85% superwash Polworth yarn, 15% nylon, and it came with, well, she gave me 2 minis, these bright pink minis. I've only used one, and I've got all of that still left to give back to her as well, so she can put that into a crochet project. And I knitted these on 2.5mm needles, 64 stitches, 2.5mm, because I think Hallie's foot is possibly a little bit bigger than mine, whereas I normally knit on 2.25mm for myself. So I thought her foot was just a little bit bigger, so I did them on 2.5mm needles. So yeah, I will be giving her these, and I'm going to use one of these sock bands, if you like, which says, "You are totally worth every single one of the 42,200 stitches in these socks." So once I have finished this podcast, etc., I'm going to fold those up, and then that will get folded round, and it will look really lovely. So I will be giving those to Hallie hopefully this week when I see her at Knit Group, so she's got them before Halloween. Hallie's Halloween socks. Right, okay, so that's 4 pairs of socks, which had been really good. Also, they were quite good for knitting. Sorry, socks have been quite good for knitting over the last few weeks because they are very light. Tried to catch the actual squirrel going past that time. Somebody did ask me once before when I was saying about the squirrels. Somebody said to me, "Can you film the squirrels?" So you might have just seen that one go rushing past. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, so the socks have been good for knitting because they're nice and light, so they're nothing very heavy for me to hold on to. But I have also got another finished object, which is not a pair of socks, and it is in fact the cardigan that I'm currently wearing. Yay! Now this is chunky, but I always tend to knit, I knit most things on circular needles. Even though this was knitted flat, I still knitted this on circular needles, which meant I could keep all the weight of the knitting, the piece, actually kind of in my lap on me rather than holding it up. Well, I used to knit everything on straight needles back in the day, but actually that's quite heavy, and as soon as I realised that you can knit flat on circular needles, that cable in the middle just means that all your weight is distributed more evenly. So I've been doing that for years really. I'll sometimes knit on straight needles if I'm knitting like baby clothes and things, but if it's an adult garment I still knit it on circular even if it's flat. Anyway, so this cardigan, let's find the pattern. This cardigan, I had started it at the beginning of September, and actually it was really quick to knit, and I had finished the back of it before I had my injury. And then again, it's plain knitting, so it's, you know, all stocking stitch, so it didn't really take a lot of thought. And again, it was something I could just do a bit on for a little bit and then put it to one side. It's this pattern, which is Sirdar Click Chunky. I haven't done it in Click Chunky, I've done it in King Cole, I think it's called Wildwoo, which is 100% recycled. Now, I did lots of calculations and I worked out how much it said it needed in the Click Chunky, how much I'd got on the Wildwoo, and as far as I could work out, I only had enough to do what was the 38-inch bust. Now I've got a bigger bust than 38 inch, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to risk it because it looks like it's slightly oversized anyway, and if I can't do it up, it's not the end of the world. I'll just wear it open. So I knitted it in that size, and I've got 2 whole balls of the yarn left, 2 full balls left. And I just don't understand, because I got a gauge as well. I knitted at the right gauge. Now, as it happens, I wouldn't say it's massively small on me. Definitely, it won't matter if I lose a bit more weight and, you know, it gets a bit bigger on me. That's fine. But it's definitely not too small to wear. I even buttoned it up yesterday and took the dog out for a walk. Buttoned up, it does look a little bit small, but I can button it up. These are the buttons that I put on, which are some wooden buttons that I've had for years. I think I bought them from Etsy many years ago, and they've been sat in my kind of button stash. And to begin with, I wasn't sure, but it's difficult for me to get anywhere to sort of choose more buttons, but actually I do really like them. And then when I posted some pictures of me wearing this, lots of people also commented on the buttons. So I think the buttons actually, because it's a totally plain cardigan. Now I'll put some pictures up here of me wearing the cardigan, which I took a couple of days ago, and which husband took them, so you can see the length of it and everything. And I'm really pleased with it. I am actually really pleased with it, because I think this is just going to be, and it's very warm because it's 100% wool. It's a little bit itchy. I'm hoping that after it's been washed a few times it might soften a bit. And also, actually, it's probably just as well I didn't knit it in a bigger size, because the lovely Suzanne from Instagram, she told me that she had knitted something in this same yarn and that it had grown quite a bit after she'd washed it. Uh-oh, here it comes again. Good boy, Stu. Good boy. He's watching it. So yeah, she told me that it grew quite a lot and was actually stretched out quite a bit. So the fact then that I've knitted it in a smaller size, hopefully it'll be fine. I try not to talk about losing weight etc on here too much, because I know for some people that can be a bit triggering etc. What I would say is, at the moment the weight loss is not going well. I have been comfort eating. I'm going to be dead honest and say I have just, particularly the last week or so, the first few weeks after I'd hurt myself, I was still trying to stick to eating healthily etc. The last couple of weeks all I've wanted is just cake and rubbish, and I've gone with that a little bit. Anyway, it is what it is. Hopefully I'll get back to it. So right, so yeah, that's the last finished object. Really nice cardigan. I've got quite a lot of garments that I want to make in the next year or so, and I keep saying that, so more garments to come. Right, what have I cast on? I've got a few new cast ons to show you. Let's start with this, because I started this again before I had my injury, and now this has been really interesting actually. So this is the log cabin blanket called Logalicious. The pattern is called Logalicious and it's by Louise Tilbrook. I've been doing this as a knit along, and the first square I did before the injury. Let me try and find the first square. Now what I think is interesting about it is the first square was done before the injury, and then the squares I've done since have all come out slightly bigger, where I think my tension is looser while I am injured. So this was the first square. Now I am using 20-gram scraps and minis that were given to me. Most of them were from an advent calendar swap that I did last year. And Denise Deer from Deer Designs, who has a podcast and vlogs etc, she sent me lots of minis. So I started off just using those minis, and I also had 600 or 700 grams of this cream vintage yarn that I got, I think again off of eBay maybe. So then I realised that actually I wasn't going to have enough yarn just from the minis, and also these long strips take 25 grams rather than 20 grams. So I went through my own sort of stash of sock scraps and things, and added some more into it. So that was the first square. And then this was the second square I did, and this was then after my injury. And again, actually this worked quite well as something to work on, just do like a little bit at a time. And you will see, if I hold them up together, you can see that the second square was definitely bigger, so my tension has changed slightly. All the other squares I've done since then have also come out as with the bigger tension, perhaps not surprisingly. So it just means I will just need to block this one out and stretch it out a little bit. So yeah, that was my second square. Now with the Logalicious design, sorry, what Louise Tilbrook has done is she has given you 4 different squares, 4 different ways of doing basically like a log cabin pattern. And so what I've decided to do is I am doing 4 that are like this, which are kind of like the corners. Then I'm doing 4 that are like this. So it will go, I'm going to do 9 in total. And then there will be a square in the middle, which is a different pattern, which I haven't done yet because I want to do the 8 that will go round it first, and then I'll do a square in the middle, which will be a slightly different design. I've kind of drawn out, I've drawn out how it's going to work. So here is another one. So I've done how many have I done? I've done 4 full squares so far. Here's another corner one. And then I've just started last night. I just started square number 5. This will be blues and greens. So we've got a corner. This is kind of how it's going to work. We've got a corner which is kind of yellows and oranges, but it has got a little bit of pink. Then we've got this one, which has got, I don't know what's it got on it. Oranges, yellows, pinks, and even a bit of purple. Then we go into, what's this corner? Yeah, a corner here with blues and purples. Then we've got a middle-ish one which is blues. Then one I started yesterday is going to be blues and greens. Then we're going to go greens, and then I think I've got like reds and pinks still to do. So yeah, I am really liking it. It's going to be a little bit more random than the blankets I usually do, I think. But we'll see. It's going to be a really good way of using up scraps, and I'm trying to work on a square a week. So I've got 9 squares to do. I'm on square 5, so these will be finished hopefully by the end of November, and it will be a nice squishy blanket. I'm using sock scraps, mostly socks, yarn scraps. I'm holding it double, so it's 4-ply yarn but held double, which makes it really squishy. So I'm really pleased with how those are coming on, and I think it is, so it's going to be different. And then I think I'll do a border in cream all the way round. That's the plan. So that's a new cast on from the last time I did a proper podcast. And then after I'd finished this cardigan, I'm trying to work on Christmas gifts now as well. So I have a niece, well, I have a great niece, my niece's daughter, and I try and knit her something most years for her birthday or for Christmas, or sometimes both. So last year she got, was it last year she had the owl for Christmas? No, that must have been the year before last. It must have been the year before last that she had the owl. Anyway, she's had a knitted owl, she's had a sunshine dress. I can't remember what I made for her last year. I know for her birthday this year I didn't make something. I gave her something from Jo at Pickle Lily, who she makes bags, which I can show you in a minute actually. She makes little bags, and she makes needle holders, and she also makes lovely little toys for children as well. So I bought a really cute little I Spy bag for Bryony's birthday. Anyway, enough of that. This year for Christmas I am knitting Bryony a cabled jacket / coat in a chunky yarn that I've had in my stash for a long time, over 10 years, and it was probably vintage, or when I bought it, so this is definitely a vintage yarn. It's Shetland, it's Wendy yarn, Shetland Chunky Knit DK. No, what am I talking about? Chunky Knit by Wendy, Shetland. It's 100% wool. Now I don't think that it's superwash, although having said that, it has got, it does say 40 degrees there, so maybe it is. But I have warned my niece and she said it's fine, she's happy to hand wash it, or she's also got her washing machine does a very, very gentle wool cycle, so she may risk it on that if it does get very dirty. So I don't know. It does say 40 degrees. Anyway, I've got 10 balls, 50 grams, 10 balls of this, which I'm hoping is going to be enough to do the jacket. Now I've worked out my gauge. The gauge is coming out just a tiny, well, it's coming out pretty much bang on for width, but it's a little bit on the long side, but that is fine because little Bryony is very slim but growing relatively tall, so actually that should work out absolutely fine. Now this is the pattern I'm doing. So it's got cable, it's got pockets, and it's got a hood. Well, what little girl doesn't love a little hooded jacket with pockets? So I've started that. It is knitting up very quickly because it is chunky, so it is a nice thank you, Stu. So it's knitting up nice and quickly. Like I was saying before, I'm doing it on cable, on a circular needle, so all the weight, I'm not holding any weight particularly with this arm when I knit. And I think this is going to knit up. I think it's going to be done in the next couple of weeks, especially as I've got more time to knit at the moment. So I think that will be done in the next couple of weeks, which will mean then that I can carry on casting up. I've got quite a lot. I've suddenly decided to knit lots of people Christmas presents, as you do. So I wanted to knit my husband a pair of socks for his birthday, but with the injury, that just wasn't going to happen. So I want to try and knit him a pair of socks for Christmas. My daughter's boyfriend would like a pair of hand knitted socks, so I want to knit him a pair for Christmas. My daughter would like a cardigan. Now again, she didn't ask for that specifically for Christmas, but I figured it'd be nice to try and get that done for Christmas. So if I knit one thing for one daughter, I've got to knit something for the other daughter, so I'd like to knit the other daughter a pair of socks. So yeah, that's 3 pairs of socks and a cardigan. But it's not even the end of October. The cardigan again will be like chunky, well, it's double knit held double, so it'll be a chunky gauge. And it's a cardigan I've knitted for her before, and I looked on Ravelry and it looks like it's taken me 4 or 5 weeks to knit it for her before. So I'm hopeful that we will get all of those things done, as well as my own Socksy and You Know It socks for November and December, and finish off the blanket. Actually, I think that's all doable. Let me show you, because I haven't shown you yet, have I, the Socksy and You Know It socks for October, which is another new cast on. So I just mentioned Jo from Pickle Lily, and she had the cutest little mini bags for Halloween, pumpkin, autumn, and I just thought that was so cute. And it came with a mini skein. The mini skein was from Likac Yarns, and so it came with a mini skein and a really cute little pumpkin stitch marker, which I've got in here, and a little pumpkin sort of decoration, which is in the house actually. So this is the first of the October socks. Eee. Look at these. They actually remind me of Finding Nemo. And there's the pumpkin stitch marker that came with the bag from Jo from Piccadilly. So this yarn, let me show you, I opened this up on the 1st of October and my friend Kate was with me, so she filmed me opening this. So let me just insert that. And then I couldn't wind it myself, or not very easily, so Kate took it away with her and she got her lovely little son to wind it for me, and I've got a tiny bit of video of him winding the yarn for me.
I'm going to say hi to Amanda.
Hello, Amanda.
I hope your arm gets better soon.
Oh.
So this yarn, I have cast on the second sock. This yarn is by Nancy. I don't have a label for it. Maybe I didn't have a label. Nancy is laying cable on Ravelry. She is the moderator on the Little Likac Ravelry group as well, and I did an advent swap with her a couple of years ago, and I've already used all of the minis that she gave me to make a litmus cowl, which is just lovely. I wear that a lot. And she gave me some Christmas yarn, which I think, could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure is this one. And she also gave me this Halloween yarn as well. So it's self-striping. It is, I think it's 80% nylon, 80% merino, 20% nylon. I did have the tag for it. I'm just not sure. It might be in a different bag. And so it's self-striping. And then this green, I think is a Regia that I'm using with it for the heels, just the heels and toes, not the cuts. And it is coming out really lovely. So we've got orange and yellow, but what you might not be able to see is this bit in the middle is just like, it is actually a very dark purple. So if you didn't know, purple is my favourite colour. So this, yeah, got the first one done, which I'm putting back in my little Halloween bag. And then I have started the second. All I've got done on the second is the ribbing. Yeah, just got the ribbing. I'm knitting these on 2.5mm needle, 60 stitches, just vanilla sock pattern, as in just stocking stitch. Heel flap and gusset, because that is my favourite type. So yes, that. So this is the Regia, which is, as I say, oh, I've had this in my stash for a long time as well. I knitted a pair of socks with it many years ago, and then this was left over. It might even have a bit of cotton in it, I'm not sure, but it is kind of like a highish twist, which this one is as well, so I felt it would go together. So that is my October socks for the make along. Please, 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 if you want to join in with the October socks, I will get that Ravelry thread started, and my apologies for that. Right, just a couple other things then. So when my daughter said that she wanted a cardigan, I knew that I didn't have any yarn in stash that would be suitable, so because it will be 100% acrylic that I will use for her, so that she can just throw it in the washing machine, not worry about it. Plus also she's not very keen on wool. And I asked her what colour she wanted, and she wanted sort of like a coffee colour. So I went on to Knitting Network and bought 6 balls of this, which is just Emu Classic DK It was less than £2 a ball. The colour is biscotti, and it is sort of like a caramel biscuit, as you would expect, because it's called biscotti. Sort of like a caramel biscuity colour. I bought some buttons to go with it at the same time as well. But you know what it's like on these sites. You get free shipping if you spend a certain amount. So the balls of wool, the yarn, and the buttons came to about £20, and it was £30 for free shipping. So I thought, oh, let's have a little look. And actually I bought a pattern book, and I've bought this really lovely King Cole Aran book, pattern book, and it is goes from babies up to 7-year-olds. So it's got a really good range of designs, of sizes. And if you remember, I was just talking about my niece, or my great niece Bryony. I'm sure there'll be some patterns. There will definitely be some patterns in here that I could use for her. It is a really, really lovely book, and it is all using Aran weight yarn, but it's not necessarily that it's all complicated Aran patterns. I mean, that's just like a little garter stitch bolero. Little dungarees there have got some cabling on them. Absolutely, and you could do that in any colour. There's a little poncho and hat and blanket. It's just got lots of beautiful patterns. Little dress and cardigan. So I bought that because I was really sure that there'd be lots of things in here. And Aran, for baby knits, is just going to knit up so quickly. That's that same pair of dungarees. So the yellow pair had been done sort of like as shorties. Blue pair. So that's what I really like as well. Is a lot of these are quite gender neutral. a fairly straightforward little jacket there. That though then has got like a motif on the back if you wanted to put a motif on the back. So yeah, I'm just really oh, lovely here if you want your more traditional classic Aran type. But that's that same jacket done in pink. That was. I also really love this little hat and coat combo. So this was really worth it because I think it was £10.99, and there were loads. Well, it says 28 different patterns, and obviously there's loads of ideas of how you can just sort of like mix and match some of the combinations. So I thought that was well worth it. And I think that is it from me for today. So yeah, I have been much busier with the knitting stuff over the last couple of weeks. And I'm just trying to take it easy, still resting and not doing too much. But I would be going stir crazy. Been reading quite a lot. What have I read recently? I read, I'm trying to think what I finished reading. Oh, I read a Jenny Keir book, At the Stroke of Midnight. I'm currently got a couple of books on the go. The new Miranda Hart one, which is about really her sort of struggle with a health problem that she's had for the last, well, she's had this health problem for years and years, but particularly the last 10 years where it's been quite chronic. And I've also been reading The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which is just trash, but romance trash. Reminds me of the Mills and Boon stuff I used to read when I was a teenager. And what else have I... a Colleen Hoover book, also a little bit trash, but you know, nice, simple, easy reading. Anyway, yeah, so I've been reading more and just trying to take it easy. My husband has been looking after me lots, and yeah, back to the fracture clinic in a couple more weeks, and then hopefully back to work. Though at the moment there's still a lot of things that are really difficult to do. So we shall see, we shall see. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your comments and all the lovely messages that you send to me. I do really appreciate all of them, and I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. Bye for now.